Hey guys, it's 681 Shadow, and today I'm going to be doing an anime discussion on something that is prevalent within Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball franchise. So in episode 34 of Dragon Ball Super, we saw that Piccolo fought Frost, and we see that Piccolo has improved drastically, it seems, ever since the Resurrection F arc. That's just in my opinion. I'm not sure if he has improved or not, because then again, he was fighting for. They were just only fighting Frieza soldiers, so that could just be me thinking things that aren't actually happening. But anyway, I want to talk about Piccolo's improvement throughout the series, starting with the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, going up until his fight with Frost in Dragon Ball Super. So he has always been seen as a wise fighter. He knows how to strategize things and to make the battle go in his favor in a strategic way rather than just overpowering his opponent, because he obviously is not the most powerful character in the franchise. So, so Piccolo in the beginning of this year of Dragon Ball Z is fighting with Goku against Raditz. Now to defeat Raditz, Piccolo decided to use his Makako Seppo, or Special Beam Cannon, depending on if you've watched the sub or the dub of Dragon Ball. If and so to use that, he would have to charge it for 5 minutes. So he needed those 5 minutes to stay still, which means he hadn't really trained it. His body wasn't well enough. He wasn't like good enough with the technique so that he could use that technique and, like, let's say, help Goku fend off Raditz, because both Goku and Piccolo weren't enough to fend off Raditz on their own, let alone so Goku wouldn't have had much of a chance anyway. So then, as we go through the series, against the Cybermen, after Piccolo's training for the year with Gohan, him, Krillin, Tien, Chaozu, and Gohan easily defeat the Cybermen. Not Yamcha, obviously, because Yamcha dies against the Cybermen. But then Piccolo, we don't really see Piccolo's strength against Nappa due to the fact that he dies against Nappa because he was protecting Gohan. But then he gets training from King Kai as well as the other two die, which are Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu. And then Piccolo gets resurrected during the Frieza Saga and goes to Namek. So when he's on Namek, he fuses with Nail, which makes him even more powerful. So he's able to do more. And then at that point, he would be on par with second form Frieza. And then Frieza would transform to his third form and overpower Piccolo. And then Piccolo would not be seen as strong because third form Frieza overpowers him. So then Frieza, so then Piccolo later on gets shot straight in the chest from with a blast from final form Frieza, which extremely cripples him. He blacks out, which goes to show that he isn't really much of a powerful character as he was in the beginning of the series. So then, in the Cell Saga, he has to absorb Kami to gain quite a bit of power, so he could fight Cell and the androids. And it turns out that with fusing with Kami, he is more powerful than Imperfect Cell at the time he fights for Imperfect Cell. However, once Imperfect Cell absorbed more people, he would be more powerful than Piccolo with Kami and Nell absorbed. But then Piccolo would also be pretty much on par with Android 17. And of course, he would be weaker than Perfect Cell and Semi-Perfect Cell due to the power boost from the androids. That in the Buu arc, Piccolo isn't really seen doing much fighting. You see him more for his intellect in that arc due to he has to teach Goten and Trunks how to fuse and all those types of things, because they have to fight Majin Buu because the most powerful they'd be the most powerful being on Earth if they fused, due to the fact that Goku is dead in heaven, Gohan's up in Supreme Kai world, and Vegeta's dead. So they would be the strongest because they're the only Saiyans there, and Saiyans are the strongest in the series. And then you see his intellect in use, even though it's not him actively using it, but you see his intellect in Majin Buu when Super Buu absorbs him. you see that he grows a lot smarter, and it has to be from Piccolo because he's not going to get that intelligence from Goten and Trunks because they're only kids then. So now jumping through to Battle of Gods, because there's not much else in the Majin Buu arc for Piccolo to really do, or that he really did. In the Battle of Gods, you saw him attempt to fight Beerus, even though he even though Beerus obviously overpowered him, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Piccolo knew that Beerus was a god due to Kami being in him, but it may have only been Dende that knew that he was that um excuse me, sorry, that Beerus was a god. Forgot his name for a second. I don't know why, but so then Piccolo easily got defeated by chopsticks, which everyone jokes around about, which is actually pretty funny because it's a common thing in Japan and Asian cultures, and just a guy just defeats two people with it. So then, if we jump to the Resurrection F movie slash arc in Dragon Ball Super, whichever one you watched, unless you watched both, Piccolo is seen fighting the Frieza soldiers, which are really weak compared to them now because of all the things they've had to go through with like Cell and the Saiyans and all that kind of stuff. So then he's basically easily getting rid of those. No really intellectual arts that he has to go through back then. But overall, for Resurrection F, he's really improved. Now, to the part that is really insane is in the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament, which is the reason I made this discussion to video to begin with. Now, Piccolo in this tournament he is to fight Frost, which we saw in the episode. So Piccolo goes. Of course, he's weaker than Frost, even at his full power. So Piccolo takes off his cape and his hat so he can not have the weighted clothes on, so his power could be increased. Then he went to fight Frost, charging up his special beam cannon. However, unlike in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, where he had to stand still for 5 minutes, he's trained himself physically and mentally so that he would be able to concentrate the ki for the special beam cannon or Maka Kosapo, and he would be able to move around and dodge whatever Frost was throwing at him for a good amount of time, like a solid minute. But then, of course, the only reason that Piccolo really lost was because Frost cheated. Piccolo, because if Frost didn't have the poison needle, Goku would have obviously won. But even if Goku lost without the poison needle, Piccolo would have just blasted him with a special beam cannon, and he would have been out of the ring. So overall, Piccolo has improved not psychologically, mentally, physically, pretty much all in general. And so I'm going to end the video off here. I came up with this idea because I was planning on doing the second video of my Universe 6 fighter analysis. However, Frost is still in play, so so I can't do a complete discussion on Frost, and we're not getting an episode this coming week. So I'm going to have to do another video that isn't the Frost speculation, that isn't the Frost analysis. So I'll have to do that video in 2 Wednesdays from when this is being uploaded. So that's going to be all. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to comment your thoughts about Piccolo's fight with Frost in episode 34. Be sure to rate, subscribe, share the video out, and have yourself a great day. I will see you all in the next video.